here to explain the entire stock market in 30 words or less. Okay,
Yeah.
maybe not that simple, but good morning, Brent.
Good morning. If we had till noon, we might be able to get part of it done for you.
At least. But you picked out one specific section to help us understand the stock market.
Yes, because sometimes you'll see on stocks, actually many times you see on stocks, people think, oh, it just says buy or sell by the analyst, so I'll just do that. That's the easiest way to do it. And that sounds pretty easy, but it's not a good idea.
Yeah, because where does that information come from?
Well, it comes from different brokerage firms like Merrill Lynch, Morgan Stanley, Goldman Sachs, and they kind of have a bias with that, unfortunately, because if you ever noticed that you never hardly ever see a sell. And people say, well, why? Why is everything always a buy?
Yeah, you always see buy, sells, and holds. You always see the buys.
Yeah, you always see the buys. And the reason being is that the firms also they make big money off what they call an investment banking with these companies. If they're going to issue a bond, if they're going to issue more stock, they'll go to Goldman Sachs, go to Morgan Stanley. Well, if you put a sell on my company, I'm not going to do business with you. So therefore, you better not put a sell on my company. It better always be a buy. So not very reliable, those.
You know, that's funny because we just saw that movie Atop the Manchester last night. You know, they're doing those movies on top of the hotel, and it was Pretty Woman, and that's obviously one of the bases there, where he's buying the companies and splitting them up. Okay, what about those target sell prices? Are those a good idea to use?
The problem with target sell prices that you have is that when you go to the big firms and so forth, they can have a target sell price of 50. And then you buy the stock, and then the next week, well, it was sold. Like, what happened? They never give you how far away they are from that target sell price. So you want to be very careful using target sell prices. In our firm, when we do target sell prices, we say we're 30%, 50% away. So when you invest in that, you know, like, okay, I got a long time to go, as opposed to target sell prices at 30, it stocks at 28. Oh, now they're going to get out of it.
Yeah, because you need some sort of framework to even understand how long you may be holding on to this or what you should be looking for its performance, right?
Exactly.
Okay, how about these numbers? We all see these Wall Street analysts. What are the best numbers that a layperson like me should use?
The best numbers that we use, that you can use, that it's unbiased, is the earning estimates going forward. Now, what you want to do, a couple different things. You want to use the average of all the analysts, because some may hold it, some might be shorting it. So I like to have about 7 or 8 different analysts that I can use the average earnings going forward for that company. Very important, Ginger, is you want to use what's called the GAAP numbers. And GAAP numbers are generally accepted accounting principles, because that is the standard for accounting. Reason being is that companies use pre-exempt, they use pro forma to where they'll pull out this, they don't like that, and they say that, but still people see these high numbers. A lot of technology companies do this. You've got to be careful of the right numbers you're using.
Yeah, so you're talking about using the middle of the road. This is kind of a middle of the road philosophy in finances, right?
The middle of the road and the correct numbers. Very important to use the correct numbers, the real GAAP numbers.
Okay, there's a lot of numbers out there, though, Brent. I mean,
yeah, I know.
I said we're going to demystify the stock market, and I understand, like, if I can hone in on these certain parts of the stock market, but I feel like if I need more, do you have some sort of workshop coming up?
We actually do, and Ginger, so important because we can explain to people how to do it. Doesn't mean they can do it themselves, but you want to know to ask the right question of your advisor, saying, well, what are you using? How are you coming up with this price? We had a guy the other day that called on a radio show that actually he was told to sell 1,000 shares of the stock. Well, why? There was no reason for it. You've got to understand the basics to ask the right question of your advisor.
Yeah, and always one of those good questions is, where do you have your money?
Where do you have your money? And that's so good, because we actually show that our money is invested the same way as our clients' money. Good question, Ginger. You should always ask that advisor, what are they doing?
Well, the stock market's looking rather healthy right now. Nice recovery after a couple of slides, but looking pretty healthy at this point. So would you say it's safe?
It's safe if you do the right things. We talked about some companies that are not safe. I mean, we talked about here last week, Facebook fell by, what, 20%. Netflix is down about 20–30%. You've got to be careful of these high flyers. And what's funny, Ginger, these companies had buys on them. And people bought them, and it went down. Gee, it's supposed to be a buy, it's not. So you've got to be very careful, and that's why you look at the real numbers, the GAAP earnings, say, what is this business going to earn? What is it worth going forward for the next year or two? These are things we cover about in our workshop, trying to educate people about investing. It doesn't mean you can do it yourself, but you'll understand more of why to bring down your emotions.
Since you're such a money guru, I'm going to the races today. How should I bet? Who do I put my money on, Brent? Come on.
I
you
would
do it
say
all.
that I don't do.
Oh, come on.
I'm sorry, Ginger.
I thought I was going to get some free advice in there. Okay, well, thank you. You're helping break it down, so it seems a little less intimidating at
We'll
this
do a little
point.
bit of time for it.
Right. That's the way to do it, right?
Yep, exactly.
Slow and steady wins the race. All right.